St. Peter's only shot 29% in that ball game, and you're not going to win a lot of games no matter how good a defense you play when you shoot only 29%. So Niagara, yeah, that's a game they can look back on and say, yeah, we stole one and think good about it. St. Peter's, they've been able to put it behind them and go on from there. And that's why they're putting up some impressive numbers, well on their way to another 20-win season, 13 wins already this year, 4-2 in the MAC. Canisius, they're going the wrong way, and we'll look forward to that Little 3 matchup. We've got another one of those coming up. There'll be a real barn burner later on in the year, but until then, those two teams are going to have some tough games in the MAC against the upper echelon.
Who would you say is the best team you've seen so far, Lou, in the MAC?
Well, I'm going to see LaSalle in just a little bit, and I'm also very impressed with Siena. Siena, again, very talented at the point guard position with Mark Brown, and they can do a lot offensively to hurt you. Obviously, statistics show that St. Peter's is a great defense, and I'm very impressed with them. I just don't think they're big enough inside that sooner or later somebody is going to be able to take advantage of that.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I think LaSalle is very big inside, as you'll see in the next game. And we hope that you'll stay with us for all of the ball games, because we've got certainly a lot of action going on.
A great doubleheader here at the Niagara Falls Convention and Civic Center. Works out well for the Little 3 and for the MAC Conference to hold these, and unfortunately Canisius, the home team, came out on the short end tonight, but maybe Niagara have a little bit of success against the LaSalle Explorers coming up.
We hope so. We'll see you again in just a short while. Till then, on behalf of Lou Finesse, I'm Don McLean. This is the Empire Sports Network.
This has been a presentation of the Empire Sports Network.
Preseason polls pick the Niagara Purple Eagles to finish last in the MAC Conference. The LaSalle Explorers have won the league title 3 straight years. Tonight, it's a chance for the upstart Eagles to earn instant respect in the conference.
I tell you what, we played a great game against LaSalle the last time we played them. With the exception of maybe the last 6.5 minutes of the game, where again our inexperience and our did us in, and it does us in a lot because of just the fact that we are very young and guys have not been in these situations before as college players, and we just got to play, as I said before, make the transition where we can play possession by possession and fight through tough times and persevere and be a little tougher and find a way to make free throws and find a way to make big shots and get big stops and things like that. And the only way you do that is you continue to experience it, and you hope that your success ratio gets higher. We've just got to do a great job on Doug Overton and Jack Hurd and Randy Woods. I mean, they just have 3 great perimeter guys, and you gotta stop those guys. If you don't, you're in for a long night.
Empire Sports Network presents, from the Niagara Falls Convention and Civic Center, NCAA Division I College Basketball, a Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference game featuring the LaSalle Explorers at the Niagara Purple Eagles.
Hi everyone, I'm Don McLean along with Lou Finesse from the Niagara Falls Convention Center. A very interesting ball game tonight, LaSalle and Niagara. LaSalle, a very talented team, Lou, against Canisius. Doug Overton, a kid they say will be probably a first-round draft pick, along with a kid by the name of Jack Hurd and James Woods. They just really had great games and play very, very well. They're strong up front. Big Lieverst comes along that board and tries to clean it all the time. Niagara is going to have to be very, very tough against this LaSalle team tonight.
Yeah, some difficult matchups for the Purple Eagles tonight, basically because LaSalle so very strong at the guard position, Niagara so very young at the guard position. Tony Newsom, a sophomore, and Reggie Moore, a freshman, are really going to have their work cut out for them trying to defend against the LaSalle guards tonight. Doug Overton's a great scorer.
Well, let's take a look at the LaSalle. They're 11-3 overall. In the MAC, they're 5-1. They're coached by William Speedy Morris. quite an active guy on the sideline.
Yeah, but not too speedy. You'll get a look at him later. Jack Armstrong coming into tonight has Niagara at 5-12 overall, 3-5 in the MAC. Purple Eagles dropped a 6-point decision, as we said, to LaSalle a little bit earlier in this season, but they played one of their best games of the year in that matchup, and they're going to have to do quite a job tonight to equal that kind of performance and maybe pull the upset here in the Convention Center. A lot of motivation tonight for the Purple Eagles as well, Don. Longtime member of Niagara family, longtime broadcaster of Niagara basketball games, Bob Laurie, an untimely passing away earlier today. That'll weigh heavily on the players' minds. Bob used to travel with the team quite a bit the last couple of years. He's a close personal friend of Jack Armstrong, and we, of course, will miss him and wish and pass on our condolences to the family of Bob Laurie.
We certainly do. We'll be back with all of the action in just a moment. This is the Empire Sports Network.
It's fast, it's tough, it's exciting. It's Buffalo Sabres hockey on Empire Sports. Tune in as the Buffalo Sabres take on the Edmonton Oilers. Sunday evening at 7 here on the Empire Sports Network. Join Paul McGuire and Buffalo Bills General Manager Bill Polian as they face the probing questions of local media on the Bill Polian press conference.
There is no double standard for Jim Kelly.
No subject is too sensitive.
There was no partying on the floor prior to the Cleveland Browns playoff game.
The Bill Polian press conference, Monday evening at 8 here on the Empire Sports Network. You're watching the Empire Sports Network, the home of hometown heroes.
Well, we're here to get ready for the game between the Niagara Purple Eagles and the Explorers of LaSalle. And Lou, this ball game is a type of ball game that Niagara, I'm sure, is really looking forward to. They're playing, I think, probably one of the top teams in the MAC because they're big and strong up front. They've got a couple of guards that can really handle the ball for them. And I think Jack Armstrong's the type of guy that likes to have his club ready, and I know he will. And this would be a big upset for them.
Well, they're really looking forward to this game and hoping for an upset again. They came within 6 the last 2 times these plays. Two teams have played, and Niagara never quits, and they'll put up a good fight against the Explorers tonight. We're looking at the starters for LaSalle. Jack Hurd now being introduced, a junior forward, 6'6", 200-pounder, averaging 19 points a game. And from Texas, number 20, Broderick President, a senior forward, 220-pounder, averaging 6.9 points, 5 rebounds, and Milko Lieverst, the milkman at center. The guards, Doug Overton and Randy Woods. Doug Overton, the leading scorer in the MAC Conference at 25 points per game. And we'll get the starting lineups from the Niagara Purple Eagles in just a second. Getting, of course, one of the honorary starters for the Purple Eagles. And who knows, maybe he'll be playing point guard for the Purple Eagles someday. Now the guards will have a major role to play in tonight's game. Tony Newsom, who leads Niagara in minutes played, starting at one of the guards, and we'll have a freshman at the other guard from the Bronx, New York, Reggie Moore, who has developed into the chief three-point threat for Niagara this season and is doing fairly well in the last few games from that range. Wayne Daniel provides some needed offense in the swingman position, battling back for some injuries earlier this year. And of course, the money man for the Purple Eagles, Ryan Clifford from the Bronx, New York. As he goes, so do the Purple Eagles at most times. And Sean Ciano gets the starting center, a 6'11 senior, 6'11 from Rochester, New York, only a junior. There's the starting 5 on paper for you. Tony Newsom and Reggie Moore at the guards, Daniel and Clifford at forward, and Sean Ciano to tip it off.
Well, we're ready for action here. The officials getting ready to tip that ball up for us. And the crowd anticipating a good ball game here tonight between these two clubs.
Well, LaSalle is a good draw by virtue of the fact they are a very competitive team nationally as well. Of course, doing very well in the NCAA tournament last year, but that's when they had the L train, Lionel, Doug Overton, filling in as the scoring person for LaSalle this year. He already had set the school mark for assists, and was the real playmaker. It was his previous role. Now picking up the scoring slack as they have lost Lionel Simmons, and LaSalle still having another outstanding year this season. They lead the series 26-15, winning the last 10 meetings between these two schools. Niagara's last win back in 76-77, a 2-point win, 66-64.
Lieverst jumping against Shiano, and the tap knocked into backcourt, picked up by Woods. Overton runs this ball club for LaSalle. High post, he goes to Lieverst. Got to Hurd. This kid can throw him up, this Hurd, too. Woods starts to drive, pops, puts it up, no good. Lieverst gets it, loses it, picked up there by Moore. Niagara on the break. Dwayne Daniel. Good move.
Daniel probably one of the most athletic Purple Eagles, and Niagara will look to opportunity break, and Daniel was able to get behind the Explorers.
Doug Overton fires one up, three-point range, no good. The foul is called underneath, and it's going to be against LaSalle.
That crashing through there was number 20, Broderick President, who was getting a start for LaSalle.
Number 20, Broderick President.
He came over the back of Brian Clifford. Clifford, again, not a great leaper, but always in position.
Niagara on the attack here now. Tony Newsom brings the ball up. Newsom drives right to the hoop, feeds off to Shiano. Down low, they go to Clifford, who gets back out to Reggie Moore. Moore with the ball to Newsom. Sean Shiano to Clifford. Clifford puts it up.
No basket.
And a travel violation called against Clifford.
Clifford actually got the ball in a tough position. He was directly underneath the basket. And, of course, trying to get himself a better angle to shoot. Didn't get the ball on the floor in time.
Okay. Lieverst with the ball. Goes to Woods. He fires from the left corner. No good. Out of bounds, and it belongs to Niagara.
LaSalle not gun-shy about firing up from the outside. Overton and Woods, they'll fire them up out there, and they'll stretch the defense. They'll take their chances hot and cold, but once they get fired up, boy, they're a tough team to shut down.
Are indeed. Shiano down low to Clifford. Back in the corner now to Dwayne Daniel, who comes in, fires it up, close range, no good. The rebound knocked away and out of bounds, last touch by Niagara.
Daniel worked hard, but he's got to make that shot. Came through the lane, it was actually free from about 6 feet. And in the big games, if you're going to really be competitive against the LaSalle, you got to be able to nail down the opportunities like that.
Doug Overton, high post. Overton drives to the hoop, fires on the run off the glass, no good, and the rebound to Lieverst. He puts it up, no good. The rebound to Overton, puts it up, no good. Rebound knocked away, Lieverst has it.
Niagara now boxing out.
They get it out to Jack Hurd. Back out to Overton. Jack Hurd. Outside comes to Lieverst. Lieverst pops from 17 feet, it's good. And that ties it up at 2 apiece. In forecourt.
Tony Newsom there is.
Newsom gets it to Daniel, knocked away, picked up by Sean Shiano. Out to Moore. Newsom wants to set it up again. Right side, they come to Dwayne Daniel. Shiano down low to Clifford. Clifford has his shot knocked away. As he goes up with it, it's picked up by LaSalle's Overton. Overton has the ball stolen from him by Newsom.
He just picked his pocket.
Newsom goes in, lays it up and in. No bucket.
Got called for goaltending.
No bucket.
No basket.
That's offensive goaltending, and I'll tell you something. Sean just should have left it alone.
Yeah, I think that may have eventually rolled through. It was rolling around the rim and still had a chance to fall through, and Shiano touched it on the cylinder, and they take it away from him there.
LaSalle's Lieverst outside. They get to Hurd. Hurd pops from the foul line, no good. Clifford with a rebound for the Purple Eagles. Daniel Still dribbling, fires from the right side, no good. Clifford with a rebound, fires it up and through.
That's how Clifford is most effective on offensive rebounds and putbacks. That's how he hurts a lot of teams.
There's Speedy Morris, the LaSalle University head coach. He'll get active along those sidelines. Not half as active as Jack Armstrong, though, I don't think.
What always amazes me about Jack is he never loses his voice, and you will not hear him stop yelling all night and dancing and prancing.
That's Broderick President with the ball. He gets it out to Woods, who fires one up and through for 3 points.
Basket by Woods. 3
It's a
points.
5-4 LaSalle lead. Woods is not bashful at all. There's Jack Armstrong, the coach of the Purple Eagles. Outside, Clifford with the ball. Newsom down low. They go to Dwayne Daniel. Shawno underneath. Nice pass. Gets it to Clifford, who lays it up and in.
Basket by Clifford.
Basket counts, and he was fouled.
Jack Armstrong likes to put Sean Schiano out in the high post for 2 reasons. One, he is a very good
Foul is
passer for a
charged.
big man,
Number
as you saw him
44,
deliver
Milko
there to
Lieverst.
Brian Clifford. The second is he can hit that shot.
LaSalle's second team foul. Number 30.
That foul was on Lieverst, incidentally.
On the line, shooting 1.
Clifford will get 1 shot. And he makes it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a television
7-5. The score with Niagara up by 2 over LaSalle. This is the Empire Sports Network.
The Bonnies of St. Bonaventure are working toward establishing a new winning tradition in Olean under the leadership of Coach Tom Chapman. Each week you'll meet the coach as he discusses his plan for building a tough competitor for Atlantic 10 opponents. It's a must-see program for Bonnie alums and fans of the St. Bonaventure program everywhere. The Tom Chapman Show is seen Tuesday at 10 here on the Empire Sports Network. You'll find the latest inside information about basketball and other athletic programs from the University at Buffalo on UB Update. Hear firsthand from coaches and players about upcoming opponents. And follow the strategy as host Cliff Smith looks back at recent games. The University at Buffalo is on the move, building toward Division I status. And you'll be there every step of the way. Join us for UB Update, Tuesdays at 10:30 here on Empire Sports.
And while we have a moment, let us remind you that the announcers for tonight's game have been selected and paid by the Empire Sports Network. Any rebroadcast, transmission, or other use of the accounts or description of tonight's game without the express written consent of the Empire Sports Network is strictly prohibited. Overton with a shot. It's a 3-pointer. And it's a 9-7 ball game. LaSalle up top.
3 points.
Really a catch-22 to stop them defensively once they've been able to find the range from out there.
Clifford fires one up, no good. The rebound comes to Lieverst for LaSalle. Ahead, they get it to Bruce. Broderick President lays it up and in.
Basket by President.
President just had to beat Tony Newsom for that. That's a mismatch.
And Niagara with a mistake here is
LaSalle
Newsom
ball.
inbounded it to Reggie Moore, and Reggie didn't quite have it and put his foot out of bounds with it.
Made the same mistake just the other night in the St. Peter's game. Freshman, and Niagara is going to live and learn with the mistakes of Reggie Moore and a few other
No basket.
players.
Overton underneath made a nice pass to Broderick President. Unfortunately, you're not going to count the hoop. Travel.
Actually, the Purple Eagles probably playing a pretty good opening 4 minutes of this ball game. Really haven't cashed in on all of their opportunities.
Sean Schiano from long range, no good. And Jack Hurd with the rebound for the Explorers. Doug Overton. Outside. Has the ball taken away by Reggie Moore. And a foul is called on Overton.
That's the frustration foul. He is picked by Reggie Moore and trying to prevent Moore from taking off on a fast break.
His first.
He just grabbed him and committed
Third
the foul.
team foul.
There you see Doug Overton talking with Speedy Morris saying, Coach, I didn't see him. Or words to that effect. Sean Schiano on a high post, back out to Newsom. Dwayne Daniel. Back out to Newsom. On the wing they go out. To Dwayne Daniel. Guarded by Hurd.
Niagara just standing
Ryan
around in
Clifford.
this set.
Yeah. And Hurd gets the rebound on Clifford's miss. Right side, Woods. Yes, indeed, three-pointer.
Basket by Woods. The
2 3-pointers.
12-7 ball game.
2 3-pointers for Randy Woods, and you really got to stay in his face.
On the left side, Reggie Moore loses the ball, and a foul is called on Hurd for reaching in. I have an interesting thing I noticed the other night with LaSalle.
Jack
If
Hurd,
Speedy Morris becomes upset
first,
with one of his
LaSalle's
players,
fourth team
Jeff
foul.
Neubauer immediately comes in and that player comes out. So the messenger is Jeff Neubauer. Newsom will inbound it. Gets it into Sean Ciano. Long three-pointer by Reggie Moore is no good. Rebound tipped out, picked up by Broderick President. And a foul. Oh, a double dribble is going to be called on Broderick.
Dwayne Daniels' face really told the story like, whoo, you were going to call a foul on me. No, they weren't, Dwayne. It was double dribble. Well, I'm sure Neubauer is probably the most popular player on that LaSalle team, based on what you said, Don. Probably doesn't get invited to too many social functions.
No, oh, and Newsom just let go of the ball and out of bounds. They say it was touched by LaSalle. Newsom will inbound it. He triggers it into Dwayne Daniels. Gets it out to Moore. Moore pops a long one. It's no good. And the rebound battled for and picked up by Moore. That's called hustle. You follow your shot and get a second shot, a second chance.
You know, it's real important for Reggie to hit a shot early to gain his confidence, but he hasn't been shy so far tonight.
And Sean Ciano can't put one in, and Overton loses the ball, and now Moore's got it back again. And now LaSalle's got it back again. Hello there, how are you? Goodbye. Hello, how are you? Goodbye. And now goodbye again. Hello. Don't say goodbye again. They get it to Ciano. He lays it up and in.
No
offensive
no
foul, no
basket.
bucket.
Jack Armstrong wants the basket to count,
Foul is charged. Number 43, Sean Ciano.
but it's not going to count.
Niagara's
This is the way Niagara makes a lot of teams play, though.
Number
They work so
51,
hard and they just scrap and
in
hustle
the lineup for
and look for the loose balls and things that they can make a lot of teams look ugly for short periods of time, sometimes long periods of time.
Braun Holland's into the lineup for LaSalle. Jack Hurd fires one up, no good. Rebound to Woods. Here's Hurd again. Fires it up, no good. Braun Holland with the ball, puts it up off the glass, no good. Sean Ciano's got it. Braun Holland is a kid at LaSalle who transferred from Bonaventure.
The banger from Bangor.
That's right.
That was a big loss to the St. Bonaventure program.
Sure was.
Sean Ciano is not the guy you want to do an alley-oop with.
I don't think so.
It was really mistimed badly. Dwayne Daniel, yeah, that works quite often. Carl Hare, yeah. I haven't seen him pull it off with Sean Ciano before.
Doug Overton starts to move, stops, loses the ball, gets it back, out to Hurd. Down low, they go to Hurd, who posts low, puts it up, no good. Rebound to Sean Ciano. Moore with the ball to Clifford. Clifford has his shot rejected by Lieverst. Picked up there in the corner by Newsom and gets it out to Sean Ciano.
He's laughing about it. He knew he worked into a lot of trouble there.
Newsom with the ball. Sean Ciano, and the stolen from Sean Ciano by Hurd, who goes in and dunks it.
Basket by Hurd.
And it's an 8-point bulge for LaSalle, 15-7. And a foul called on Woods for reaching in.
Foul is charged.
Tony Newsom,
To number
point
14,
guard, again leads in minutes for Niagara. He's got to limit his turnovers.
His first.
43 coming in.
Yeah, we got a timeout on the court with a score. LaSalle 15, Niagara 7. This is the Empire Sports Network.
Join Paul McGuire and Buffalo Bills general manager Bill Polian as they face the probing questions of local media on the Bill Polian press conference.
There is no double standard for Jim Kelly.
No subject is too sensitive.
There was no partying on the floor prior to the Cleveland Browns playoff game.
The Bill Polian Press Conference, Monday evening at 8 here on the Empire Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Warren Miller, and for the last 40 years I've been traveling around the world in search of skiing at its finest, freest, and funniest. And when you can't be out on the slopes doing it yourself, do the next best thing. Share the thrills that we filmed of skiers all over the world. Tune in to Warren Miller Television and enjoy the scenery, the thrills and spills, and the laughs of skiing.
For the end of the first half.
Okay, we're back here, and some substitutions for LaSalle. We
Number
got
24,
Woods, and we
Jeff
also have
Neubauer, and number 34,
number 24,
Ray
Jeff
Schultz,
Neubauer.
in the lineup for LaSalle.
And let's see who else we've got. 34, Schultz. Ray Schultz. For Niagara. Clifford with the ball. Finds Shawano outside the three-point range. Now they get it to Dwayne Daniels. And there's Reggie Moore with a shot that's no good. The rebound to Jeff Neubauer.
Came around Shiano's screen, had an open shot, just failed to put it through. It's been a night like that for Niagara, not cashing in on some good opportunities.
There's Doug Overton from LaSalle. He's driving the hoop baseline, and what did they call it? Jack Armstrong doesn't like it, I can tell you that. He's talking to the official.
He's saying, no way, Reggie Moore had a lot of ball, but evidently got a little bit in the arm.
His first.
Then picks up his first foul.
Well, that's the way it goes, and Overton will go to the line.
11, Doug Overton on the line, shooting 2.
Overton's quite a player for LaSalle. Fires the first free throw up, no good.
Candidate for All-American. He's the 10th LaSalle player to reach 1,500 points.
83% shooter from that line. He fires it up and in. And it gives a 16-7, a 9-point bulge for the Explorers from LaSalle. Niagara's had the shots, Lou. They just haven't fallen for them.
They're having a tough shooting night. I don't know if it's jitters or what. Maybe pressing a little bit, knowing that you have to play almost to perfection to beat a team like the Explorers.
And John Shiano throws the ball away. Overton's got it, puts it up, no good. And a foul is called. Going to be on Moore, I believe. Reggie Moore.
Foul is charged to number 10, Reggie Moore.
It's going to bring the first substitution in for Niagara. Niagara went almost 10 minutes with their starters. Armstrong doesn't go very deep into his bench. You'll see Bertram come in at one of the guards, Darren Brown at one of the forwards, and Carl Hare will see some minutes tonight, as will probably Darren Bossert. But they won't go any deeper than that.
Okay, at the line, Overton makes good on that free throw.
And Newsom and Clifford won't come out but for just very brief stretches.
And he makes good on the second one. Now it's an 11-point lead with 10:17 remaining in the first half. Newsom with the ball for the Purple Eagles. On a high post, it's Sean Shiano. And there's, a long three-pointer. Shiano gets a rebound. Put up there by Bertrand. Just off the bench, put a long one up like that.
He's another three-point shooter. Just hasn't been able to get on track as of late.
Kind of tough just coming off the bench and throwing that first long one up there. Down low, they go to Clifford.
Look at them collapse on Clifford.
And they get it out to Bertrand again. He puts it up, no good. And the rebound comes off to Schultz. And the ball knocked out of bounds by Clifford.
Well, if you're a coach, you know, Jack Armstrong, he has to have the patience of Job. I mean, there Clifford did everything he was supposed to. He was surrounded by 3 or 4 people, found the open man. Bertram, his job is to nail that shot.
Neubauer gets it into Braun Holland. Out they go to Schultz, who fires it up. So good. The rebound is taken off by Clifford, and the foul is called. I believe it's going to be on Braun Holland. It is.
It went over the back of Clifford. People say, well, what may be happening to Brian Clifford? He was only getting like 10, 12 points the last few games. Well, unless Niagara develops an outside threat, Clifford is going to see more double and triple teaming, and they've got to find somebody else who can step up and hit that outside shot to take some of the pressure off of Brian inside.
Yes, you do. Outside, Sean Shiano fires up a long one, no good. Rebound comes out to Clifford. He gets it to Newsom. Back outside. Now they go to Bertrand. Bertrand down low to Clifford. Clifford, a good move. Feeds it off now to Newsom, who fires it up and in. Basket counts.
Basket by Newsom.
Going to be called on LaSalle. And it's going to be on Neubauer.
Brian Clifford is the second leading assist man for Niagara. You saw a beautiful move there. Looked off the defense and found Tony Newsom, the open man. That's his 50th assist on the year.
Darren Brown in the lineup for the Purple Eagles. Sean Chiano goes out.
Sean also not hitting his shots here in the early going, so
back in the lineup for LaSalle.
Armstrong going to try his hand with Darren Brown, who averages 10 points a game, and see if Darren can provide some offense. He's more of an inside player with the range to about 15 feet.
At the line, Newsom fires his free throw up and in. And Niagara scores their first points in a while here. Brings him to just a 9-point or 8-point ball. As the ball is knocked out of bounds by Niagara, as LaSalle's bringing it up court.
So we've got Leo here to catch and protect us from that one. Nice job, Leo. That's what he gets paid the big bucks for.
That's right. Doug Overton to Woods, to Hurd, to Broderick, President. President down low. Tries to go to Hurd, and it's knocked out of bounds.
Niagara ball.
And the ball belongs to Niagara. Niagara really hustling on defense.
They've been very scrappy. LaSalle by no means having an easy time offensively.
Down low, Clifford almost loses the ball, gets it back out to Newsom for one-hander, no good, and a foul is called underneath. I believe it's going to be on Darren Brown.
Foul is charged to number 45, Darren Brown.
So there we have it. Darren just come into the ball game.
A familiar refrain, though. Niagara has a good shot, an open shot, and fails to throw it down.
Yeah, they've been getting the shots. They just haven't been going for them. Overton, a little 8-footer. No, yes, it is good. Hits the rim, pops up in the air, comes down, hits the rim, and goes through. 20-10 the score. LaSalle up by 10. Bertrand in close, puts a shot up, no good. Rebound by Hurd. Overton with a long three-pointer.
Just steps inside.
By Overton.
22-10.
10 points already for Doug Overton.
He's a quiet scorer. He just at the end of the ball game, he's got 20 points to say, where did he come from? There's Dwayne Daniels with the ball for Niagara. He gets it to Clifford. Clifford underneath fires it up, no good, but a foul is called on Hurd. Hurd does not like that at all. He questions where the official's from.
Well, that's his second foul, and he will likely come out to avoid the third before the half. But again, did you see the crowd that collapsed on Brian Clifford?
LaSalle's 8th.
Schultz comes out, and in the ball game comes Lieverst.
Number 44, Milko Lieverst, back in the lineup for LaSalle. Number 33,
Brian Clifford is at the line for the Purple Eagles.
And shooting
63% shooter from the line. Puts his free throw up and in.
I've said quite often that's one area of the game that Brian just needs to improve a little bit. This is his 83rd attempt on the year, so as you can see, he gets a lot of opportunities from his inside style of play.
Clifford converts both of them as Darren Bossert comes in the lineup for Niagara to replace Newsom. Woods with the ball. Overton. And feeds the ball and loses it. Picked up by Bertrand. Ahead, he gets it to Darren Brown, lays it up and in.
Basket by Brown.
Brown hustling up court. David Bertrand was able to spot him.
Overton again. Out to Woods, and Bossert reaching in, can't get the ball. Woods with the ball, stops, pops, no good. Rebound comes to Bertrand. Bossert in forecourt. Dwayne Daniel, no way. Rebounded to Overton. with the ball. He traveled.
Wood saw that he had nobody in the lane for Niagara getting back quick enough. He would have had a free shot at the basket. He got so excited he didn't
Substitution, number 21.
Took a couple of steps.
Back in the lineup for Niagara.
Niagara substituting Daniel out Newsom, and Daniel working very hard on the defensive end. Going to get a quick breather.
Newsom brings the ball into forecourt. Bossert working against LaSalle, learn a man for man. Down low they go to Clifford. And they get Darren Brown, lays it up in it. Good pass from Clifford. That's what's got to happen. They surround you. It's 22-16. LaSalle on top. Lieverst with a jumper from about 17 feet.
But nobody just went out on him. He had all day. He was going to pass and said, well, if you're not going to guard me, I'll take it.
Why not? There he is, Newsom. Back outside. Now they go to Clifford on the right side. Clifford almost lost the ball. Gets it back out to Newsom. To Darren Brown, who almost lost it. In the corner, they go to Bossert. Back out to Clifford, right corner to Newsom. Reverse it to Bertram. Bertrand goes in, fires on the run, no good. The foul is called on Lieverst.
Aggressive move from David Bertram, not something that he does too often. He has seen a lot of action for Niagara against zone defenses for his outside shooting ability. Learning to play a little more physical style play and get used to getting an opportunity to play against a little tighter man-to-man defense.
On the line and shooting 2.
David Bertrand, an 80% shooter from the line. Fires the free throw up and in. Tell you, Clifford is learning now too. He was down there on those last feed off when they had 3 men on him, and he got it out for that open shot to Darren Brown.
Again, he's a very good passer as well, over 50 assists.
And 24-18 the score, a 6-point bulge for LaSalle. 5:09 remain here in the first half. The Niagara Purple Eagles were down by as many as 10, but have come back to within 6 now, and certainly are making. They had kind of a dead period there for a while where they didn't score.
Just cold shooting has been the story for the Purple Eagles. I think Jack Armstrong would be, for the most part, somewhat happy with the defense they've played. A couple of breakdowns, but they've controlled a very potent LaSalle offense so far. LaSalle only putting up 24 points with 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. I think if Armstrong would feel that he could keep LaSalle in the 70s tonight, his defense has done a pretty good job. On the other hand, offensively, getting good shots, as we've said, but not putting them through, and he's looking for the right person to develop the hot hand tonight. Darren Bossert has checked into the lineup. He also is a three-point threat, but Darren sometimes criticized for not shooting enough. David Bertram trying to be aggressive as he's come off the bench.
And there's Coach John Armstrong in the middle of that huddle, drawing up some plays to what they've got to do.
And don't forget, tonight is Domino Shootout night. At halftime, you'll have the opportunity.
24-18 the score, 6-point bulge for the Explorers from LaSalle.
Just step up to the foul line and shoot for a domino.
Don McLean, along with Lou Panessa from Niagara Falls Convention Center, bringing you basketball. Tonight's game, LaSalle and Niagara. A MAC conference game. Doug Overton for the Explorers. Overton gives to Lieverst on the sideline. Down low, they try and go inside for Hurd, and it's knocked away by Clifford.
Clifford, you know, we talk so much about him. He also comes up with a lot of steals. He leads Niagara in steals with 38 coming in because he anticipates passes so well.
Underneath, Overton gets the ball to Broderick President, and the shot blocked by Clifford, but they say you got him on the hands. So that's a foul on Brian Clifford.
Players get so frustrated when they think they've gotten all ball. The official disagrees, and it was written on Clifford's face there. That's the 15th foul on the Purple Eagles.
At the line, it's going to be Broderick President.
Broderick President on the line and shooting 2.
He's got 2 shots coming. Free throws up and in on his first one. 25-18, a 7-point bulge for the Explorers. free throw is up and no good, and the rebound comes to Brian Clifford.
LaSalle looking to trap. Tony Newsom recognizing it and gets the pass off.
And they get to Bertrand. Bertrand back out to Bossert.
Of course, you're happy that they've avoided the trap and avoided the turnover, but you would think you might be able to get a break opportunity out of that, and Niagara didn't.
Well, I think it caught him by a little bit by surprise. Double teamed at the baseline is Darren Brown, and he was called for a travel.
LaSalle ball. Substitution.
I just don't understand. I've seen it happen so many times with so many big guys. They get down on that baseline and figure they're a little guard. And usually they wind up either committing a foul or losing the ball in a turnover, as they did there.
It's tough to dribble in traffic like that for the bigger guys, even the smaller guys.
Jack Hurd fires it up. No good. Rebound comes to Woods. Gets it back out to Overton. Back to Woods. Woods pops from long range. No good. And a foul is called on Darren Brown. Underneath. Using the elbow.
Foul is charged to number 45, Darren Brown. His second.
And the bonus. Salle is
that's a 6th team foul on Niagara.
16 foul on Niagara. Niagara's already in the bonus. Salle is not yet. So they'll just inbound it.
Brown sits down with 4, and Shiano's back in.
Hurd with the ball, gets it to Woods. Back out to Hurd. He fires from long range. Good. Three-pointer.
Basket by Hurd, 3 points.
He put in about 25 or 26 against Canisius the other night. And it's 28-18. It's back up to a 10-point lead. Sean Shiano loses the ball. Doug Overton gets it for LaSalle. He pumps from long range. No good. Clifford. Long pass coming down to Bertrand. He lays it up and in.
Basket by Bertram.
Doug Overton for LaSalle. On the left side to Hurd. Skip pass cross court to Woods. Down low. Ball knocked away. Picked up by the Purple Eagles, Dwayne Daniels. 4-on-1 break. Daniels goes all the way in, lays it up and in.
He switched hands, actually went with the left hand to lay that in. But Niagara almost got a little bunched up on that with the 4-on-1. Daniel just took it himself. Back in this game now, it's 6 points.
That's right. Hurd with a three-point attempt. No good. And a foul is called on number 20, Broderick President. And, of course, the LaSalle is over the limit, so Niagara will go to the line. Niagara down just by 6, 28-22. 2:47 to go here in the first half.
Number 51.
Yeah, Armstrong, I'm sure, is pretty pleased with the Purple Eagles' performance tonight. They've got the game going at the type of pace they would like. LaSalle, they had a similar game against Canisius the other night, though, Don, where they didn't shoot very well from the outside in the first half. But then once they catch fire, look out. They did against the Canisius game. Woods scored 21 of 28 points in the second half. They had a 20-6 outburst and just put that game away.
63% shooter is Clifford. And he brings Niagara to within 4. 28-24, LaSalle leads. 2:47 to go here in the first half of the ball game.
Clifford has 9 points.
Overton gets to Bron Holland. Bron Holland with the ball back outside to Woods. Over they go to Lieverst. Lieverst pumps from long range. No good. Rebound to Clifford. He gets it down to Bertrand. Bertrand tries to pump it to Shiano. Knocked away. Picked up by LaSalle. Overton pumps from long range. No good. And the jump ball called. And the possession arrow is in Niagara's favor.
This is a big opportunity for the Purple Eagles, down by 4 with 2:09 left in the half. Keeping it within a couple of field goals at halftime after trailing by double figures would be a good accomplishment.
It certainly would. Tony Newsom is going to bring the ball down and set it up here. Gets Clifford. Clifford loses the ball inside, and it's picked up by Bron Holland. Right side, Woods fires away, no good. Over the backboard, it belongs to Niagara.
Another interesting point that LaSalle made in the write-up of that Canisius game Now, most teams come out with an inside game. This is Overton talking. But we like to come out firing up threes. If we come out cold, we could be in for a long night.
Yeah, that's true. And they do like to fire them up.
They've come out cold, but still leading this one.
And there's a shot by Newsom from long range. It's no good. And a foul on Schiano. I think LaSalle is something like 3rd or 4th in the country in percentage shooting, about 39% from three-point range. That's a pretty good percentage from three-point range.
They are 125 for 341. 341 three-point attempts on the season. Put that in perspective, Niagara has taken 167.
About twice as many.
Schiano picked up a dumb foul there, and that puts him on the bench with 2. Both of Niagara's first 2 centers, Schiano and Brown, will probably sit out the remainder of the half with 2 fouls, and it brings in Carl Hare.
Carl Hare is in the lineup. Free throws up and in by Hurd.
Carl playing his 2nd game back after sitting out a long stretch for Niagara due to the suspension.
2nd free throws up and in.
Conditioning just not back to where he needs it to be at this point.
It's a 6-point lead for LaSalle. Ryan Clifford in forecourt, gets it back out to Newsom. LaSalle in appears to be a 2-3 zone. Yes, they are, 2-3 zone. Carl Hare with the ball. Looks it back out to Bertrand. And he loses it to Woods with a quick hands. Woods goes to the baseline, fires it up, no good. Rebound taken by Newsom. Newsom down the middle, gets it to Dwayne Daniel. He can't hang on to it.
Niagara just seems a little too jittery tonight. We saw David Bertram commit a turnover, just jittery under the pressure. That time, Dwayne Daniel trying to do things a little too quickly off the outlet from Newsom.
Number 24, Darren Bossert.
Just that little bit of execution that makes the world of difference.
We got 55 seconds remaining in the first half, and LaSalle's up by 6, and they have the ball. Shot clock is on with 35 seconds remaining in the shot clock. Ron Holland in the high post. Down low goes to Overton, lays it up, no good. But right behind with a follow-up is Ray Schultz.
Basket by Schultz.
And Clifford just didn't box him out that time. Schultz snuck in undetected and had the easy putback.
And that gives them an 8-point lead, and Niagara probably going to take just 1 shot because the shot clock is off with 20 seconds on the game clock.
Niagara often will just clear out and let Tony Newsom go one-on-one.
32-24. LaSalle leads. Tony Newsom. Brian Clifford down the middle, fires on the run, no good. Battle for, and there's the end of the first half. And Niagara got a shot off, but it wasn't close. And the first half ends with the score. LaSalle 32, Niagara 24. This is the Empire Sports Network.
He asks tough questions. He gets to the bottom of things. He tells it like it is. Each Tuesday night, join Empire Sports for Sports Line with Paul McGuire, the highest-rated sports talk program in Western and Central New York. You can even ask questions yourself by calling in and speaking to Paul and his guest. Sports Line with Paul McGuire is seen live every Tuesday night at 7 here on the Empire Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Warren Miller, and for the last 40 years I've been traveling around the world in search of skiing at its finest, freest, and funniest. And when you can't be out on the slopes doing it yourself, do the next best thing. Share the thrills that we filmed of skiers all over the world. Tune in to Warren Miller Television and enjoy the scenery, the thrills and spills, and the laughs of skiing.
Foul the foul lines.
Here at halftime, we've got LaSalle leading the Niagara Purple Eagles by a score of 32-24. And the differences in the ball game so far is a couple of guys who, by the name of Overton and Woods, have taken over. Our guest here at halftime is Howard Simon, who does the broadcasts of Niagara Radio for WJJL. And Howard, the MAC conference. First time you've seen LaSalle this year?
We saw them a few times. I did the game up in Philadelphia where Niagara almost beat them that night too. Kind of similar to this. And Niagara gave them a scare. LaSalle's still a pretty good team, and they're still the preseason favorite to win the conference this year.
What did you think of St. Peter's?
Best defensive team in the MAC. They have some great athletes. They had a down year last year. I think they're a little more motivated this year because they had a 500 year last year. And as they played against Niagara the other night, they smother you. You don't run things regular against their defense.
You don't, that's right.
And Ted Fiore is one of the best coaches in the conference, and they're very experienced. They've got 4 senior starters, and they will make some noise in the tournament.
Now, taking a look at the MAC tournament this year, you've got St. Peter's up there, and you've got Siena and Iona. And some teams, Niagara and Canisius, having a struggling time at this point.
I thought Canisius would be a little bit better at this point. I really did. They made a great run at the end of last year. They were picked 6th in the preseason poll, and they are a team that you can be afraid of, just like Niagara. I think the main thing that you know about this conference this year is that it's parity. On any given night, it really is true. Any team can win in this conference, as evidenced by Iona losing at Loyola today. So I think Niagara and Canisius, both of them can come up with a quarterfinal win or a first game win at the MAC tournament in March.
What about the other teams in the MAC? How do they feel about coming up here? Have you talked to them at all?
It's a tough trip. They're getting used to the Western New York swing. You know, a lot of teams, Army came through here last year and went 0 for 2. LaSalle beat Canisius the other night. St. Peter's now went 2-0. It's a very difficult swing. I think they enjoyed coming up to Buffalo for the Wings and then up to Niagara Falls, but it is a very difficult 2-game road trip.
Well, overall, if you had to pick right now and say you're winner of the MAC overall, who would you say to be?
Well, it's real tough. I'd have to go with LaSalle. I still think they're too tough to beat. Iona is too inconsistent, and I think Siena's having some problems right now, and I would have gone with Siena because the tournament will be in Albany. I'll give them that edge because it's almost a home court for them, but boy, LaSalle's so tough.
They are, and they're big and strong up front. They got the Doug Overton, who I think probably will be a first-round draft pick.
That's a millionaire watching play basketball. He'll be a first-rounder. I don't know if he'll be a lottery pick, but he'll be a first-rounder for sure.
No question about that. Howard, thanks very much for talking with us here at halftime. Best of luck to you in your career.
My pleasure, thanks, and good luck with the Empire Sports Network.
You bet. Our guest, Howard Simon. Howard does the basketball broadcast on WJJL in Niagara Falls. The score here at halftime is 32-24. LaSalle on top by 8. This is the Empire Sports Network.
The Bonnies of St. Bonaventure are working toward establishing a new winning tradition in Olean under the leadership of Coach Tom Chapman. Each week you'll meet the coach as he discusses his plan for building a tough competitor for Atlantic 10 opponents. It's a must-see program for Bonnie alums and fans of the St. Bonaventure program everywhere. The Tom Chapman Show is seen Tuesday at 10 here on the Empire Sports Network. You'll find the latest inside information about basketball and other athletic programs from the University at Buffalo on UB Update. Hear firsthand from coaches and players about upcoming opponents. And follow the strategy as host Cliff Smith looks back at recent games. The University at Buffalo is on the move, building toward Division I status. And you'll be there every step of the way. Join us for UB Update, Tuesdays at 10:30 here on Empire Sports.
So very, very much.
Well, Lou, I'll tell you something. It's going to be a tough halftime in there with Coach Jack Armstrong. Niagara's had the shots. They haven't fallen for him.
A frustrating half because I think they're very happy with the way things have gone in the first half. This is the type of tempo, the type of scrappiness, and the type of pace that Niagara would like to see this basketball game. And they are getting some good shots, just not throwing them down. Niagara being led by Brian Clifford with 9 points. Nobody else stepping up to provide any offense. LaSalle, on the other hand, getting the balance they need from Woods, Hurd, and Overton. And we're going to take a look at the stats now, and we'll bear it out to show you that Niagara has kept into this game at the free throw line. 8 of 8, perfect from the free throw line. LaSalle, 6 of 9. As you can see, Niagara actually has a couple of more 2-point field goals, but LaSalle, 4 3-pointers. They're so dangerous out there. Niagara's got to be very careful to extend their guards out there, keep somebody in Hurd and Overton's face and Wood's face. It's a tough task, and they're trying to do that job, but as you see, LaSalle has 4 3-pointers. Turnovers, a little on the high side for both teams, and rebounds, LaSalle holding an edge of 4 at halftime.
The score here is 32-24, LaSalle leading Niagara. This is the Empire Sports Network.
Join Paul McGuire and Buffalo Bills general manager Bill Polian as they face the probing questions of local media on the Bill Polian press conference.
There is no double standard for Jim Kelly.
No subject is too sensitive.
There was no partying on the floor prior to the Cleveland Browns playoff game.
The Bill Polian press conference, Monday evening at 8 here on the Empire Sports Network. He asks tough questions. He gets to the bottom of things. He tells it like it is. Each Tuesday night, join Empire Sports for Sports Line with Paul McGuire, the highest-rated sports talk program in Western and Central New York. You can even ask questions yourself by calling in and speaking to Paul and his guest. Sports Line with Paul McGuire is seen live every Tuesday night at 7 here on the Empire Sports Network.
You know, Lou, we've just talked about the statistics. The funny part of it is LaSalle only shot 33% in the first half, and Niagara shot 28%.
28%. Again, you want to talk about individuals. Brian Clifford having a tough night. They're collapsing on him. He's 2 of 7. Tony Newsom is 1 of 4, and David Bertram is 1 of 4. Darren Brown hit both shots that he was able to take, but he also committed a couple of fouls and had a turnover. And again, Dwayne Daniels, 2 of 4, and he missed his only 3-point attempt. Niagara again able to hit from the free throw line, 8 of 8, which has kept them in the game, down by 8. And Armstrong, I think, has some satisfaction in that, but they could actually be tied or leading in this ball.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it, because they really weren't taking any bad shots. The shots they got were good. They just weren't falling for them, and that was the difference. And as we said, LaSalle only shooting 33%. They're not having a great shooting night. Doug Overton, 3 of 10, and Randy Woods, 2 of 8. Lieverst is the only guy who's having a halfway decent, shooting 50% at 2 of 4. As far as Niagara is concerned, they just, Dwayne Daniels 2 of 4, but boy, when you got a guy like Brian Clifford, who's your big gun, and he's only getting 2 of 7, something's got to happen in the second half.
You're flirting with dynamite again with LaSalle. If you're Niagara and say, wow, we held them to 33% shooting, we should be right in this ballgame. They're still down by 8, because you know with the talent they have assembled over there in the gold uniforms, sooner or later they're going to be able to put together a run. So that is what Niagara has to guard against now. They have to limit any streak that LaSalle may get, because if they start heating up from outside, it's going to be difficult for Niagara to come back. So Niagara's got to continue with the tough defense and start to nail those shots, and hopefully continue to execute as well to get those open shots as they did in the first half.
Well, both teams coming back out on the court now as we get ready to start the second half. LaSalle will inbound the ball to begin the second half. It's Jack Hurd that'll trigger it in. Doug Overton for the Explorers. Outside to Lieverst. Lieverst, incidentally, is from Holland. Amsterdam, Holland. He fires one up.
And the milkman delivers there.
He's taking the finger out of the hole of the dike, isn't it?
6 points.
Wow.
Who says they don't deliver anymore?
Newsom for Niagara. Gets it to Reggie Moore. Salle playing man for man. In the corner they go to Newsom. They're looking for Clifford, and LaSalle is cutting him off pretty well. They get Shiano down low. Shiano turns around, hooks a shot up, no good. Lieverst with a rebound. Outlets it to Hurd. Hurd to Broderick President. And President, foul whistle blown down there, and we're going to see what the foul's on.
Foul is charged to number 33, Brian Clifford.
Brian Clifford picks up the foul.
Niagara's first team foul.
That's the first team foul on Niagara in this half, and the second against Clifford. Comes into Broderick President. He hands off beautifully to Woods, who puts it up. James Woods.
That's his first 2-pointer of the night. He had all his points in the first half on threes.
Down low, Clifford. He's got 3 men around him now. The ball knocked out of his hands and out of bounds.
Niagara ball.
And he gets that ball down in that low post, and they just collapse right around him, Lou.
Yeah, he kicked it out a few times in the first half, but then again, you start to think if you're Brian Clifford, who am I going to kick it to? Who's going to make the shot? That sense of doubt could creep in your mind.
Shano from the foul line fires it up, no good. The rebound comes to Broderick President.
Giano having a real tough night. He has attempted that shot quite often, and again, normally he's going to make that 45% of the time. Not tonight. 0 for 4 now.
Lieverst outside the President. He fires from long range, no good. Rebound comes right to Doug Overton. His shot is no good, partially blocked. Shano finally gets a rebound. He gets it down to Clifford. Clifford muscles his way inside, no good. The rebound taken by Dwayne Daniel, puts it up, no good. And Broderick President gets it, but loses it out of bounds.
Dwayne Daniel, the most athletic Purple Eagle, made a nice play there, and then Reggie Moore able to slap the ball off of the LaSalle player out of bounds. And Niagara scrappy and working hard, but
in the lineup for
got to be able to finish off what you start.
Well, Dwayne Daniel, pretty good sized kid, but he's in among some big trees inside there. Moore fires it up, no good. The rebound goes to Clifford, who hooks it up, no good. Shano fires it up, no good. Shano goes up again, and they go to the floor to Shano and Bron Holland. That's a lot of weight going down there.
Shiano, 6'11", and up to 230, and Bron Holland at 240 pounds.
LaSalle's first.
They got a quarter of a ton.
Caused some splinters on the floor there.
Shano go to the line.
Sean Shiano on the line, shooting 2.
2 shots to Sean. Fires that first one up and through.
Yeah, we're talking about shooting problems for the Purple Eagles. They're not a very good shooting team to begin with. They shoot just under 41%.
Sean, a 64% shooter from that free throw line, cans both of them.
41% from the field, and that's actually high. They've been in the 30s in many games.
Lieverst with the ball, back to Overton for a long three-pointer, no good. The rebound taken off by Lieverst. And Overton comes back out with it. Set it up to get to Bron Holland for an 18-footer that's short. Rebound comes to Newsom for Niagara. He gets to Reggie Moore. He pumps from the baseline, good.
Basket by Moore.
Well, the Niagara took the break. Moore had the open shot, and lo and behold, it finally went.
And a timeout being called by LaSalle here with the score. LaSalle 36, Niagara 28. This is the Empire Sports Network.
And for the last 40 years, I've been traveling around the world in search of skiing at its finest, freest, and funniest. And when you can't be out on the slopes doing it yourself, do the next best thing. Share the thrills that we filmed of skiers all over the world. Tune in to Warren Miller Television and enjoy the scenery, the thrills and spills, and the laughs of skiing.
Bonnies of St. Bonaventure are working toward establishing a new winning tradition in Olean under the leadership of Coach Tom Chapman. Each week you'll meet the coach as he discusses his plan for building a tough competitor for Atlantic 10 opponents. It's a must-see program for Bonnie alums and fans of the St. Bonaventure program everywhere. The Tom Chapman Show is seen Tuesday at 10 here on the Empire Sports Network.
Number 2-2.
Well, we're talking here and wondering what Niagara can do to cut this lead down. And Lou, I don't know a heck of a lot they can do. They've been playing well. As I said, they've been surrounding Brian Clifford when he gets the ball. If maybe he can get that pass, that outlet pass, just a little bit quicker to somebody underneath, they might be able to get that easy layup.
Well, LaSalle not having a good shooting night, not playing really up to their standards, but playing just well enough.
That's Hurd that took the shot. Rebounded by Moore for Niagara, and he gives it right back. Overton to Bron Holland. Back to Overton. Look at Overton fire from long range.
Basket by Overton.
Doesn't need much room, does he?
He sure doesn't. 39-28, 11-point lead.
And 13 points for Doug Overton.
Clifford with the ball. on the right side. Dwayne Daniels. Down low, they come to Sean Channel. Fires it up, and
Basket by Giano.
Well, Giano finally gets a bucket on his 5th field goal attempt of the night.
Overton drives the lane, fires back to Braun Holland. He lays it up. Offensive foul on Braun Holland.
That was a nice look on the penetration from the guard, but Sean Ciano stood in the way of Braun Holland, who had all that big momentum going, that 240 pounds, and once you get it started, it's so hard to stop.
Second team foul.
Broderick President back in the lineup for the South.
Substitution number 20.
Speedy
Broderick
Morris is
President
over now talking
in the
with Braun
lineup
Holland
for
on the bench,
LaSalle.
telling him what he did wrong.
Yeah, see, Brown, when a guy is in your way, you just can't run him over like that.
That's right. Most little guys don't like that.
Words of wisdom. Oh, Reggie Moore traveled.
Reggie kind of gave a fake and to his right, then went to his left and dragged the pivot foot. It's a 9-point ball game, 39-30. LaSalle up by 9 with 15:50 to go in the ball game.
Number 51.
They're just making a correction on the last foul. And one of the officials called time. He wanted to make sure it was charged to Braun Holland. They evidently had reported it differently to the scorer's bench, but now I have it corrected, and Holland has 3 fouls.
There's Woods, who loses the ball but picks it right back up again. Overton to Hurd, down low. They go to Lieverst, who loses the ball, but he gets a travel foul on Lieverst as he's trying to control the ball and dragging his feet as he did.
LaSalle's having a very difficult time getting anything going inside. They're looking inside and just not finding anything. A lot of loose balls created by the Niagara defenders.
Ryan Clifford out to the high post, down low. Goes into Dwayne Daniels. And the kid came out from the steal, and Daniels went around him and laid it up. Niagara back within 7. Doug Overton. To Woods from the foul line, no good. The rebound to Clifford, he loses it. Picked up there by Moore. They got a 3-on-1 break. Moore going to the hoop, and he's fouled from behind by Woods.
Moore made a nice play with the loose ball, but I think he really should have dished off because he allowed Woods to catch up to him. Maybe if he got it out a little bit quicker to Tony Newsom, Niagara would have had an easier bucket there. Now he's got to work for it from the free throw line. Not even, they're going to have to inbound.
That's right. Well, you know, that's the whole thing. Coaches will tell you every time you get 3-on-1, pass that ball. Somebody will have the good shot. But you think you're going to get it. Moore with the ball outside over to Newsom on the left, on the wing. Now they go to Dwayne Daniels from the foul line, in and out. Ball not dropping for him, Luke.
It's been that kind of a night. Niagara with a lot of opportunities, cut the lead from 7 to 5 or 4 to 2, and just not converting.
Lieverst with the ball to Woods. Woods, beautiful pass to Broderick President. Turn around, no good, tapped up and in by Lieverst. Basket counts, and he was fouled.
You know, Milko Lieverst is really developing into a better player for LaSalle as, again, different people are expanding their roles without Lionel Simmons. But anything he gets is gravy. I mean, he had 8 points now tonight looking for a 3-point play. But the main men are Overton, Woods, and Hurd. LaSalle had that 89-74 win over Canisius. Hurd, Woods, and Overton had 73 of the points.
Reggie Moore committed the foul. And it's a 10-point bulge again for LaSalle, 42-32. Reggie Moore in forecourt, and a trip is called on Hurd.
That hurts.
I could feel that all the way over here. We're on the opposite side of the floor.
You get the brush burn from skidding on the floor, and it's not soft, folks. I mean, it may look good on TV, but it hurts. You get those little steel things as they pack the floor down.
Niagara trying to get a little run going here. Starting off, Newsom fires one up. Two-pointer. Niagara's hanging in there. They're not letting LaSalle build that big lead. And LaSalle up by 8, 42-34. The shot goes up from Overton.
Yeah, but see the difference right there? Doug Overton is right around the 3-point line. He makes sure he takes that step and gets the 3-point shot. Tony Newsom will often do that. He was just inside the 3-point line. Another half step back, he gets another point. Not much difference in the shot.
No, there isn't. And Brian Clifford with the ball. Back out to Sean Schiano. To Newsom. Against a man-for-man for LaSalle. Newsom back out to Sean Schiano. Three-pointer. No good. Rebound to Overton. And a blocking foul is called on LaSalle.
Little Richie Moore, 5 foot, making it 6'3", 170 pounds. And he just steamrolled Broderick President, 6'6", 220 pounds. You know, President throws himself backwards trying to draw a foul, but the officials had none of it.
Darren Bossert in the lineup.
Darren Bossert in the lineup, replacing Moore for Niagara.
Moore would need a running start of about 10 feet to send President flying that well through the air.
Schiano comes out in the high post. For Clifford. Newsom. Dwayne Daniels. Bossert. Newsom, now they get to Clifford. Clifford tries to get it inside, and a foul is called. I believe it's going to be on President again.
And it won't be a shooting foul. Clifford was actually trying to pass.
Number 20, Broderick President, his fourth.
The President has picked up
inbound the ball.
Yeah, and has 4 now.
Substitution.
Ron Holland comes into the lineup.
Number 51, Ron Holland in the lineup for LaSalle.
Niagara inbounds the ball. Darren Bossert running the offense for Niagara. Almost lost the ball there. Down low to Brian Clifford. Double team.
He doesn't have a guard to throw it out to. There. Nobody on the near side to get that outside shot.
There's Clifford who goes in, puts it up, no good. And foul is on Sean Schiano.
Foul is charged, number 43, Sean Schiano, his third.
Sean's a big kid.
Niagara's third team foul.
You know, he came into the season averaging just
number 45, Darren
a couple
Brown
of points and 3 rebounds, and those numbers had to improve this season. He is doing much better. Matter of fact, that St. Peter's had 12 points and 4 rebounds.
This is Doug Overton for LaSalle. Goes to the baseline. Looks and finds Lieverst outside. Lieverst looks inside now out to Ron Holland. Down underneath, they get nicely, thank you, to Jeff Neubauer.
Nice look and a great pass, and Neubauer had the easiest job in the world. Banked the ball in from 2 feet.
13-point lead for LaSalle, 47 to 34. Then there's a foul underneath. On 44, Lieverst.
Charged to number 44, Milko Lieverst.
Not much has changed in this game. LaSalle is allowed to open up this 13-point lead. Only the fact that they are executing much better on the inside offensively. They're getting some shots inside now that they weren't getting before, not having to rely entirely on the perimeter game, where Niagara is still struggling offensively. Matter of fact, they're not even getting the open shots as much anymore.
Yeah, free throw is up and in by Newsom. He's got another one coming. Fires it up and in. 47-36, an 11-point lead for LaSalle. 11:46 remain in the ball game. There's a timeout in the court. This is the Empire Sports Network.
You'll find the latest inside information about basketball and other athletic programs from the University at Buffalo on UB Update. Hear firsthand from coaches and players about upcoming opponents. And follow the strategy as host Cliff Smith looks back at recent games. The University at Buffalo is on the move, building toward Division I status. And you'll be there every step of the way. Join us for UB Update, Tuesdays at 10:30 here on Empire Sports. It's fast, it's tough, it's exciting. It's Buffalo Sabres hockey on Empire Sports. Tune in as the Buffalo Sabres take on the Edmonton Oilers. Sunday evening at 7 here on the Empire Sports Network.
4. If you have that lucky number, please
Alrighty.
the scorers table.
11:46 to go in this ball game. It's not a big lead. It's an 11-point lead, but Niagara's going to put a little pressure on here in backcourt. Ron Holland triggers it in to Jeff Neubauer. Back to Overton. Overton who handled. Oh, Woods moved to the ball, and the ball's out of bounds. Belongs to Niagara.
Niagara ball.
Well, a few mistakes. I think that Overton thought Woods was going to fake and go to the outside, and he came to the inside. And ball was behind him.
Niagara with an opportunity here if they can keep going inside to Clifford and gathering some fouls, or kick it out to Daniel.
Get by Daniel.
Wayne Daniels with that three-pointer brings Niagara back, 47-39, an 8-point lead. They won't let LaSalle really get out there. There's Doug Overton, who just comes in and hesitates, pumps, and then goes up with a shot.
All you could do is shake your head on that. There was good defense on him. He just changed hands and made an amazing shot.
And Darren Brown almost lost the ball. Clifford's got it. He fires from long range. No good. Neubauer's got it. They give it to Woods. Woods goes in, fires on the run. No good. Rebound to Clifford. Oh, and down below they try and feed Daniels. The pass a little bit too high for him.
I think Daniel wasn't expecting that pass at all, and Newsom went up like he was going to shoot and tried to deliver to Daniel underneath, and Daniel wasn't expecting it.
Down at the baseline, Braun Holland turn around back at the hoop. No good. Rebound to Clifford. Clifford holds it up in backcourt. Gives to Newsom. Niagara could use a bucket here to get themselves within 6. Clifford with the ball. Clifford really works hard. They've got... Now Newsom goes to the hoop. Gives underneath to Clifford, who puts it up, and in.
Basket by Clifford.
He works hard and found himself open.
Again, Niagara in another mini run here.
And LaSalle looking things over, and they don't like what they see. With Niagara coming back here, so they call it timeout.
Second timeout.
Niagara has it back to within 8 here, but here's where they've had some problems. Even if they've been able to come up with a big stop defensively, they haven't been able to continue the offensive momentum and get that lead down. We saw even late in the first half an opportunity to cut it to 2, and it just seems that LaSalle comes up with a big defensive play when they've needed to, or Niagara hasn't been able to hit the shot. See, Jack Armstrong always meets with his assistants at the beginning of a timeout. They're all allowed to say one thing to Jack before he goes into the huddle, and then he's the only one that talks in that huddle.
Well, he's in there talking right now, and I think probably what he's telling his team is, like, hey, you've come back, you're only down 8, you got 9:49 to go. We got a lot of time. That's it, we got to get that good shot like we got the last time, where Clifford worked very hard, got himself open one-on-one.
Now, there's a player, Darren Bossard, is out there on the court now for Niagara, and he hasn't attempted a shot in the minutes he has seen tonight. He was a starter in Niagara's first 12 games, and he's been coming off the bench in the last 5, averaging just over 4 points, and that's not the kind of production that you would expect from a Darren Bossard. Again, he was the big offensive three-point threat for the team last year. On the other hand, here's a senior who has had to accept coming off the bench, and he has done so without gripe or without supporting his coach and providing leadership to a fellow like Reggie Moore, who is Niagara's future. And he is trying to help Reggie develop into a better player.
All right. For LaSalle, we'll watch him take the ball in to Neubauer, no, to Schultz, rather. There's Hurd with a long three-point attempt.
That's good by Hurd. 3 points.
Wide open out there, and says, I'll take it. Newsom in forecourt, guarded by Woods. Down low, they go to Clifford, guarded by Braun Holland. In the corner to Bossert. Bossert back outside to Newsom. A lot of time on the shot clock, 20 seconds right now. There's Newsom, who tries to go into Clifford. Ball's knocked out of bounds by Schultz.
Niagara ball.
Newsom penetrated and drew a double team, unfortunately, the man he tried to dish off to, Brian Clifford, was only about a half step away and really wasn't in.
Substitution number 30,
he was involved in the traffic jam that was underneath the basket rather than kicking it out to somebody who may have been free at the free throw line.
All right, they get the ball into Bertrand, who's in there for Niagara. Bertrand in the corner goes to Dwayne Daniel. Newsom with the ball. Newsom fires from the free throw line. Basket counts. Basket counts, and there was a foul on Niagara away from the ball.
Darren Brown was whistled
by Newsom,
attempting to position on a
Ray Schultz there. Ray Schultz was the man there, and he gave a little shove, I guess.
Darren Brown, his third.
Now both Brown and Giano have 3.
9-point lead again for LaSalle. Overton with the ball. To Schultz, back to Overton, a little 15-footer, good.
Basket by Overton.
Cleared out that side of the court for Overton, and he's starting to light it up now.
How many points he got now, Lou?
20 points.
Yeah,
Still got about 7 more to go to get his average.
He's such a quiet scorer, though. He just... Bertrand for Niagara.
Bertrand gave up his dribble and he got into a lot of trouble. Didn't have an option there.
Clifford with the ball. Gets it to Newsom. Fires, good.
Again, a half a step inside the free throw line. The three-point line, excuse me. Take that half step back. Set up out there.
Well, you figure you're open, you might as well take the shot while you're open. There's a lot of time left yet.
But it's where he's setting up.
Pass from Woods to Overton is just great at the baseline. It's 22 for Overton. He's just such a good player. Great instincts on the court. Woods is so quick here. The kid that's guarding Newsom, too. Clifford with the ball. Clifford loses it on the dribble. Picked up by Woods. He gets it to Overton, who loses it to Bertram. And it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Bertram. We have 7 minutes and 28 seconds to play in this ball game. There's a timeout called by Niagara with the score LaSalle 56, Niagara 45, and the Purple Eagles down by 11. I'm sure that they're unhappy about being down by 11, and they just want that ball to fall a little more for them than it has been. That's the difference.
Well, also right now they're in a situation where they're playing some desperation defense as well. They've got to force some turnovers and get something going in transition. Coming down and setting up and using a half-court offense that's going to take 20, 25, even 30 seconds off the clock is not going to evaporate an 11-point lead with just 7.5 minutes remaining.
Well, the Niagara cheerleaders are hoping that some of their actions out there in the court right now will maybe lend some inspiration to this ball club, get them going here in the second half.
This LaSalle, a very talented team, as we've been mentioning. When they defeated Niagara earlier this year, 84-78, it was the 1,000th victory in the school's history, making the Explorers the 72nd team to achieve that total. They started their varsity basketball in 1930. And here's a real SID stat for you. They became the youngest team to reach 1,000 victories, doing it in 61 seasons. So the Explorers ranked 4th in winning percentage behind Arizona, Oklahoma, and UNLV over the previous 3 years.
Well, you know, I always said that one of the greatest basketball players. Oh, trying a quick play there by LaSalle, and it works as Hurd gets one in. Niagara wasn't out of the huddle, and LaSalle was given the ball and said, take it in. And Jack Armstrong's talking with the officials.
That official came over to him and was...
Wayne Daniels fires, no good. The rebound tapped up and in by Darren Brown.
Basket by Brown.
6 points for Brown off the bench.
And it's a 58-47 ball game. No basket. A foul on Bossert, I believe. The official over there calls the foul on Bossert. Lieverst back into the ball game for LaSalle. Coming out is Ray Schultz.
Niagara's 5th team foul substitution.
That was the 5th team foul against Niagara.
In the lineup for LaSalle.
Ron Holland will trigger it in. Gets it into Lieverst. And then they get it in the hands of Overton. And Bossert goes for the steal, misses it. Woods got it, fires from three-point land.
A man in front of him, a man behind him, and he just split the two of them and nailed it.
It was just inside the three-point line, so it's only a two-pointer. 60-47, a 13-point lead. Now Niagara's got to put some pressure on. 6:39 to go. They've got to come down and start taking some shots here. Reggie Moore outside now to Darren Brown.
LaSalle now can spread the defense a little bit, come out and contest those outside shots because Niagara's going to be looking for threes.
Jump ball called as Reggie Moore ties up Lieverst. Possession arrow in Niagara's favor.
Niagara. Substitution, number 21, Tony Newsom.
Newsom comes back in and Bossert will go out.
Niagara.
We have 6:19 remaining in the game. 13-point lead for LaSalle, 60-47. Ball comes into Clifford. Clifford stops at the foul line, and a foul is called on Hurd.
It's so much fun sometimes to just watch the expressions of players. And that was a clear foul in sight line of the official and us right here at the bench. He's down there and he's got his arm draped all over the arm of the Niagara player. And when the whistle blows, he looks up with a look of amazement. Like,
in the lineup for LaSalle, 33.
He comes out and Jeff Neubauer comes in, so the messenger is in. Brian Clifford fires up his free throw. Well, Hurd, he gets that look every time something happens. One shot earlier in the ball game that hit the rim and then went over the top of the basket. And they said it was Niagara's ball. He couldn't believe it. Second free throw.
Clifford 7 free throws on the night tonight to go with 3 baskets.
Overton ahead, trying to get it to Woods, and it's intercepted by Newsom. To Moore for a three-pointer, in and out. Rebounded by Darren Brown, no good, but he was fouled.
Darren Brown made a nice play to get there and ready for the putback, and it just didn't go for him. Had an opportunity again and drew the foul, but again he's got to work hard for 2 points that
45
would have
got hands like rocks.
Brown on the line, shooting 2.
Some nights that's the way they feel, I'll tell you. 79% shooter from the line is Darren Brown. Free throws up and in. And cuts the lead to 10, 60-50.
It just seems to be one of those games where Niagara's going to look back at it and say, how were we down by 9 or 10 at this point of the game? We seem to have things operating pretty well. We were getting some good shots.
To LaSalle. LaSalle's third.
Well, I'll tell you, you can do that all season long. It can drive you crazy. There's a timeout here on the court with 6:05 to go, and LaSalle up by 9, 60-51. But I think if you start looking back and wondering about everything, you'll drive yourself crazy. Niagara's a team under a new coach, Jack Armstrong, who I think is a very, very smart coach. He has him well drilled. I just don't think he's got the talent that he needs yet.
And he is working to develop that, of course, through his recruiting. And again, he is playing young players. He is letting them play through his mistakes. Reggie Moore, for example, is getting a lot of playing time right now. And no matter what he does out on the court, Armstrong is going to let him play through that, point out his mistakes to him. But we talk about the messenger for LaSalle, Neubauer. You won't see a player like that for Niagara. Armstrong is going to let his kids play through the mistakes, point them out to them, teach them, but not be afraid to go out there and play, knowing that if they make a mistake, they're going to sit on the bench.
You know, the other thing is, too, people often say, well, what about Niagara and Canisius and Bonaventure and Little 3-0? You know, why aren't they getting the players they used to get? They forget one thing. At the time when Niagara had a Calvin Murphy and there was a Lanier at Bonaventure and guys like Nork, there were only about 185, 190 schools in Division I. Now there's close to 300 schools. Makes a big difference.
When you think about Calvin Murphy, though, not a lot of schools went after him. He was a diamond in the rough.
He was indeed. Great player. Nice young man, too. Ron Holland gives the pass off to Overton, back out to Neubauer. To Lieverst, in the corner to Overton. Niagara with tough defense. Overton to Lieverst. Back outside. Overton down the middle. Goes in, makes the move, doesn't get it. Ron Holland goes up with a shot, no good, but he was fouled.
No question about that one. Darren Brown has picked up his 4th. And again, Braun Holland had inside position, was there for the offensive rebound, and rather than give him an easy 2, Braun decided to give him one over the shoulder.
60-51, LaSalle on top. And Braun Holland will inbound the ball. Sean Shiano back in the ball game for Niagara, replacing Darren Brown. He has 4 too. Braun Holland out to Neubauer. Gets it to Woods.
5 seconds.
Now I think he called a foul on Newsom for reaching in out.
Armstrong has tossed his coat.
I hope he buys cheap coats. That can get expensive on your clothes.
You know, there's a story behind that. I don't know if I've said it before. Talking about a local retailer wanted to do some advertising on the cable television, and they wanted to do some trade with possibly, you know, providing jackets. It was a clothing store. And I suggested, well, why not provide jackets for the Jack Armstrong show? So he wouldn't mind doing that, but there's no way he was going to give him one for a game.
62-51 as both are canned by Braun Holland. Newsom with the ball. On the left side, gets it to Dwayne Daniels. Dwayne loses the ball. Woods got it. Woods off. Drives right to the hoop. Has it blocked by Dwayne Daniels. Clifford has it. Gives it back to Newsom. To Sean Shiano. Fires it up and through.
That was started on great hustle by Dwayne Daniel. He came back, leaped up high, rejected it, and Niagara able to run the break. All off of good hustle.
Woods with the ball. Out to Overton. Double high post by LaSalle now. Overton comes in and just fires the foul.
He's just going one-on-one and taking his man and getting good shots in the lanes. Really unstoppable as he gets going, and if he's going one-on-one and you don't give any help.
Clifford underneath to Sean Shiano. Puts it up, no good. Tapped up, no good. Rebound battle for, and Lieverst has it. Gets it out to Braun Holland, who gets to Overton. All these guys, they just look for Overton when they get a rebound, don't they?
He's the man that runs the show.
Yes, he is. Overton outside to Lieverst. Back to Overton. To Woods. They set that double high post up outside now. And Woods drives around trying to get in. Can't.
It's just a clear out. They're going to go with the athleticism of a Randy Woods and a Doug Overton over what Niagara can put out on the floor right now. Use up some clock and just let those guys go one-on-one.
His second.
Exactly what they're doing. And Neubauer goes out, Braun Holland goes out. Here comes Broderick President and Jack Hurd.
Broderick President in the lineup for LaSalle.
2 shots coming to Woods. Fires the first one up and through. 65-53, a 12-point lead again for the LaSalle Explorers over Niagara. 3:46 to go in the ball game.
It was an 8-point lead at halftime, and Niagara really unable to cut it any deeper and make any challenge here in the second half. And you know, Don, you said it earlier and hit the nail on the head. It's not that Niagara's played a poor game. They just don't have enough talent to match up.
Outside, Newsom with the ball. Goes to Clifford. Clifford driving. And foul is going to be called on Broderick President.
That'll be off for President.
Well, Clifford knew he had 4, so he thought, I'll drive on him, and he did.
Broderick President.
Picked up his 5th.
That's his 5th and disqualifying foul.
So it'll be Brian Clifford at the line. 3:34 to go here.
That's the first time President has fouled out of a ball game this year. So, not a team that usually gets into a lot of foul trouble.
Number 51.
That comes from experience, smart play.
And the fact that they have somewhat of a bench that they can rest some of the older play. They don't lose much when they take out a Broderick President. They put in a Braun Holland or a Neubauer and for Woods.
They come into tonight, the Explorers, on a 4-game winning streak, which started with their victory over Niagara on January 12th.
Clifford misses that first free throw. Puts the second one up and in.
8 of Brian Clifford's 14 points have been from the free throw line tonight. So he has his average in scoring.
Woods with the ball, loses it, picks it up again. Newsom's right on him, and Woods says, hey, I'm going to take you to the hoop. Goes to the hoop, fires it up, no good, and a foul is called.
He's putting on a clinic now.
Yeah, it's on...
Foul is charged to number 33, Brian Clifford.
Brian Clifford picks up the
His
foul.
third. Niagara's 9th team foul.
You're getting a chance to see probably the best backcourt tandem, and I say that in tandem, in LaSalle. Of course, you have to rank Mark Brown of Siena right up there with the top players in the conference. When you talk about Doug Overton
Number 14,
as
Randy
probably
Woods
being the best player in the conference this year, and team him up with a junior Randy Woods, you've got a dynamic duo.
He's a 78% shooter from the line, and he's quick and fires that second one up, no good. The rebound tap way back out. Ron Holland has it. Gets to Overton, gets it to Lieverst, and another foul is called. So this one's going to be on number 32, Dwayne Daniels.
Number 32, Dwayne Daniel.
3:12 to go in the ball game. It's a 13-point lead for LaSalle.
That's the 10th team foul on Niagara. So Lieverst will shoot 2, forget the 1-and-1 from here on out.
Milko Lieverst fires that free throw up and in. Milko with another shot. Fires. Good.
For him, it looks a lot better than 43%.
69-54, 15-point lead, and I think that's the biggest lead of the evening for LaSalle with 3:04 to go in the ball game. Down low, they go to Sean Schiano. Sean fires his shot up and in.
Get by Schiano.
Hurd with the ball gets to Overton, and Overton down that sideline in the corner goes to Lieverst. Lieverst double team, and a foul is called, and that should be Schiano's 5th, right?
Foul is charged.
Schiano,
Number 43, Sean Schiano. His 4th.
His 4th
that's
foul.
His 4th, okay. I didn't know whether to take your word for it or what I had written down here. Uh-oh, did I miss something?
Milko Lieverst on the line, shooting 2.
Milko Lieverst from Amsterdam, Holland. Fires it up and in. One of the best basketball players I ever saw played at LaSalle. His name was Tom Gola. Second free throw up, no good. The rebound comes to Brian Clifford for the Purple Eagles. Tony Newsom down. To Clifford back to Newsom. Newsom goes in, feeds off here to Dwayne Daniel, who lays it up and in.
Basket by Daniel.
Niagara wants a timeout with 2:28 to go and down by 12 points, 70-58.
Daniel gets up to 11 points. That's what Niagara will do right now, as much as possible. Timeout after a basket to set up a press and talk a little strategy. And one thing you'll notice about a Jack Armstrong team, this team will play hard right up until the final buzzer. Take, for example, the St. Peter's game down by 9 with only 20 seconds left, and they were playing the game as if it was tied.
Well, you can never tell what's going to happen in a ball game. I've reiterated this so many times in ball games I've done. With a minute to go and you're down 8 or 9 points and come up and win the ball game. And you can never count yourself out, especially in today's game with the three-pointer and the turnovers and the quick players. You can never count anybody out.
The three-pointer has certainly added some excitement, as has the fact that if you're fouled out there for a three-pointer, we already did see a 4-point play earlier this evening as part of the doubleheader. And in the game that you and I did with Niagara and Canisius, we saw a team have a chance to tie the game at the free throw line, even though they were down by 3.
Lady Eagles will play tomorrow at 2 against St. Peter's in the Gallagher Center.
For Niagara, this is the final game of a 5-game homestand.
In the Gallagher
and next week, they go to Fairfield on Thursday, and then return home on the 29th, then return home to face Iona on Thursday, January 31st. That game will be at the Taps Gallagher Center on the Niagara campus.
Ron Holland.
Out of
throws the ball in the forecourt, and James Woods can't hang on to it.
Just took a seat with Howard Simon there. Just sat right all over Howard's notes there.
All right. For the man, Mr. Newsom outside. He gives to Reggie Moore. Newsom going over to Reggie Moore on the alley-oop, and it goes to Lieverst.
Badly timed and poorly executed. That was way late and way behind Dwayne Daniel.
And Doug Overton takes over for the LaSalle Explorers. Less than 2 minutes to go now. Jack Hurd with the ball way back out to Williams. They're going to run a little clock. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Look at Williams move that ball back outside to Hurd. Hurd, for a big guy, can handle the ball too. Gives it to Williams, or to Woods, I mean. Woods wants to take 10 seconds. Now he'll start. Fires it into Overton. And the ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by LaSalle. So you work that long with, you work 41 seconds for a shot and then throw it out of bounds.
Well, it's 41 seconds less that Niagara has to make any attempted comeback down by 12. And that's really the main ambition for LaSalle right now with 1:20 left.
There's a three-point attempt by Newsom, not even close. Rebound comes to Lieverst, and from behind he was fouled by Dwayne Daniels.
Daniel tried to pick his pocket, instead hammered him, and that will mean two shots at the other end.
To number 32, Dwayne Daniel, his second.
One of the intended purposes of the 10-foul rule was to prevent the monotonous fouling at the end of basketball games, and it has to a certain extent. So far that I've been able to observe this season.
Milko Lieverst on the line.
Yes, it has.
Shooting 2.
As far as a lot of the deliberate fouls.
Free throws up and in.
Also takes the burden off the official with that deliberate foul.
Very unusual to see a deliberate foul early in the ball game. Saw one the other night, Canisius and LaSalle. Early in the ball game, a breakaway for LaSalle, and the kid from Canisius fouled him, and he called a deliberate foul. Newsom puts a shot up, no good. Reggie Moore gets the rebound, takes it out, gives to Dwayne Daniel. Dwayne fires up the 15-footer. That's good.
Daniel has the ability, and you saw it there, to almost hang in there for a while and change the direction of his shot. As you saw there, he kind of suspended himself in the air and didn't release the ball until he had cleared the defender. And that's one of the things that make him one of the offensive threats for the Purple Eagles.
Niagara's down by 9 points with just 57 seconds to go. They've stopped the clock and want to get some more players in right now. They're going to, Carl Hare is going to come in for Niagara. It's going to be a change there. Hare, pretty good shooter, Lou?
Not really, but the one thing that Carl Hare brings to you, though, is a lot of quickness and athletic ability. He is a tremendous jumper, and they like to call him Mr. Excitement. As a matter of fact, sometimes he's called the human highlight film for Niagara because he comes in and he can do so many things. That Carl Hare's trademark is the slam dunk off the break and the alley-oop dunk, but sometimes he gets a little out of control, and again, he has missed a long stretch. He is off the team for almost a month and feeling his way back on now.
Okay, I'm going to remind everybody, Lou, that the announcers for tonight's game have been selected and paid by the Empire Sports Network. Any rebroadcast, transmission, or other use of the accounts or description of tonight's game without the express written consent of the Empire Sports Network is strictly prohibited. All right. Oh, and LaSalle loses the ball out. As Hurd went after it, ball belongs to Niagara.
Substitution number 43,
A situation substitution. Put Carl Hare in for defense, try and force a turnover, and then put Sean Ciano back in.
All right, Niagara's got the ball into Moore. Get out to Clifford. Dwayne Williams. Dwayne Daniels, I mean, puts it up, no good. Rebound to Clifford. Clifford almost threw the ball away. They get it out to Newsom, out to Moore. Moore, a three-point attempt. Good. Another timeout called by Niagara.
Niagara has a game plan. Jack Armstrong continues to work. They forced a turnover, and they keep pulling it out for 3 points. As we come back, Carl Hare will come in once again to try and use some quickness, create another mishap, another turnover to get the ball back. Niagara's out of timeouts now, so they won't be able to call time after the basket. But here you see again, the not quit attitude and pulling the ball back out with the offensive glass to set up for another 3.
Well, we've got 37 seconds remaining in this ball game, and Niagara trailing by 8. But they're not giving up. They've called their last time out to stop that clock, and they'll be up there trying to steal that inbounds pass again.
And of course, Speedy Morris in the opposite huddle for LaSalle is saying, okay, this is the inbounds play we're going to do. We want to free up this guy, and let's take care of the ball. If you are looking to foul for the Purple Eagles, as we said, that sometimes happen at the end of a college game, a little less this year. You certainly don't want to put Doug Overton at the line. He is an 83% shooter. Hurd about 74, and Woods 77. Lieverst is the guy you want on the line. He's about 42%. So if Milko Lieverst touches the ball, expect him to be hammered as soon as possible.
And he's been pretty good at the free throw line tonight, though, Lieverst. He's been there a few times. Ron Holland will take the ball in. Gets it into Woods, and a foul is called right away.
Charge, number 33, Brian Clifford, his 4th.
Brian Clifford picks up the foul.
Substitution, number 43, Sean Ciano.
Ciano back in the ball game, and Hare goes out as Jack Armstrong works the strategy. And LaSalle is not even going to put anybody on the foul lanes. They'll just let Woods shoot 2. Free throw is up and in. Makes it 72-63. That's a 9-point lead. 36 seconds to go.
LaSalle 11 of 15 from the free throw line.
And the second free throw is up and in.
Oh, excuse me. That's more like 12 of 15.
Newsom misses, and Clifford gets it back. Sean Ciano puts it up and in. And a timeout called by Ron Holland as he saw he had a problem getting the ball in bounds. That's a smart play.
Smart play by Ron Holland. Don't want to turn the ball over right now. LaSalle just has to keep good control of the ball. They have an 8-point lead with 19 seconds left. Don't make the mistake and cause the turnover. You take the timeout, set something up, and find a free man with a diagram play from the bench there in Speedy Morris.
Well, I'm sure what they'll do is get it in, and Niagara will foul right away the minute they get it in if they don't get the steal. And they want to look when they get it in to get it in the hands of Woods or Overton. Those are the guys they want. But they can be pretty selective. Jack Hurd, also a good free throw shooter, so they'll look for him too. Milko Lieverst is probably the lesser of the other of the 4, but he's not too bad.
Again, LaSalle looking to extend their win streak over to Niagara to 11 games. They've won the last 10 meetings between the two schools, looking to make it 11 here tonight. And they've climbed back into a tie atop the MAC conference. As you look at myself and Don McLean, tied with Manhattan. Manhattan a little bit of a surprise, starting out at 5-1. LaSalle can up that to 6-1 with a win here tonight if they can hang on over the final 19.
Ron Holland gets it into Jeff Neubauer, and Neubauer is fouled, and that's one of the reasons Neubauer is in there. He's a pretty good free throw shooter too.
Yeah, he's 82%. Not a lot of attempts, though. He's 9 of 11 coming into tonight.
Substitution 43.
Well, he'll go to the line for a couple of shots because Niagara's over the limit.
Neubauer on the line. He'll shoot 2.
Again, now we're into that part of the game that it's a foul parade, but at least now it seems to stay until the final minute of the game. You don't see, before some of the rule changes, teams were doing this at the 3-minute mark.
That's right.
Remaining in the game, and it really slowed down and kind of made a college game boring, but now you only see this usually in the final minute of play.
All right, the free throw is up through on both of them.
Milko Lieverst back in the lineup.
And it's back to a 10-point lead, 75-65. Neubauer goes out, and Lieverst comes back in. 3-pointer thrown up there. Long pass going down to Woods. He lays it up and in.
Basket by Woods.
Niagara in a desperation mode. That shot well out of Sean Ciano's range, but
And so is that one. It goes over the backboard, not out of bounds as the buzzer goes off.
Final score.
And it's a 12-point win for the
65.
Explorers of LaSalle over in Niagara.
Ladies and gentlemen, for
LaSalle wins the ball game by a score of 77 to 65. That's the final score. This is the Empire Sports Network.
On March 5th.
It's fast.
Season. It's been